Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and I have my second cup of coffee here ready to roll. Check it out. XRP Las Vegas is in what? Are we at four or 5 days? 5 days sounds about right. This graphic came out yesterday. It's the Future of Digital Assets benefit dinner where Brad Garlinghouse is going to do a fireside chat. I think this thing will be, I think there won't be any more than like a couple of hundred people there. It's going to be at the House of Blues. You can go to futureofdigitalassets.com and use this discount code 589 for 25% off. XRP Las Vegas has a few general admission tickets left if you want to go grab some of those. And then look at this. Turns out Emi Yoshikawa, who, I can't remember what her title is at Ripple, she is VP Strategic Initiatives, and I don't know if she's out of San Francisco or Japan, but she's one of them. So I met her when I was in Singapore in 2019. Dear Americans, neither your politicians nor the media warn you about the upcoming economic collapse. Insurmountable debt, endless money printing, and out-of-control spending have bankrupted the United States. Prepare and convert your assets to gold while you still can. Well, the Digital Assets Investor has a sponsor called Miles Franklin, and you can click here to go to sign up. And when you do, type in the referral code DAI Gold. That link is in the top of the description. It's milesfranklin.com. That's where I'm buying my gold. Check it out. The black swan capitalist stable coins are for the banks. Ripple has their own stable coin. Ripple isn't just a fintech company. Ripple will be a bank. Or will it be a central bank? Or like one? All right. As you know, when the Consensys news hit, I had put this out. Watch the SEC Consensys battle closely. If there's no focus on the Ethereum ICO, Consensys ETH Foundation transactions, or from the ICO until now, or the ETH free pass speech, you'll know the fix is in, and this is all coordinated between the SEC and the Ethereum people. Truth Labs Boring Sleuth says, in my opinion, this is exactly their plan. Ignore Ethereum's history and focus only on if Ethereum is a security today based on its current setup, ownership structure, proof of stake. Well, last night, it was like, I think it was almost midnight. I just happened to be sitting at my computer and I heard Charles Hoskinson on a X Spaces. Apparently Zach Rector was in there, and this is a clip that he had caught. I took out a clip of his clip. This is the guy that, by the way, that did the Spaces. This SG, I guess is what that is. Listen to what Charles Hoskinson says about what the Consensys thing is over.
So I think what the SEC is trying to do is make the argument that proof of stake Ethereum has different facts and circumstances than proof of work Ethereum. And what that means is that they can ignore Hinman, they can ignore the ICO, they can ignore kind of everything that happened, because they say, look, whether that's a security or not is not what we're saying. We're saying the facts and circumstances are different. Proof of stake is a security, and proof of stake is the facilitators of it are unregistered broker-dealers, et cetera, et cetera. That seems to be what Consensys was alluding to in the lawsuit from the Wells notice that they received April 10th.
All right, so he just came out and said it. And here, this is Laura Brookover, I'm sorry. She is a lawyer at Consensys, I guess. Listen to what she says.
We've sued the SEC in our home state of Texas, which is actually where I'm joining you from now, to defend Ether and the Ethereum network from Chair Gensler's unlawful power grab. We've been forced for years now to defend against multiple secret SEC investigations, and it's really time they saw the light of day, because these are important, critical issues for our industry. In our investigations, the SEC wasn't only targeting our product team, MetaMask. They weren't only targeting our finance team, asking about our sales of Ether. They were actually targeting our wonderful Ethereum developers. People who are doing the important work of innovating and improving the Ethereum network. And that's really a bridge too far. And if Chair Gensler gets away with misclassifying Ether as a security, it's really catastrophic in the United States. Because if Ether is a security, then it can't be sold legally. It can't be sold, and it can't be bought in the US. And Ether is essential for access to the Ethereum network, right? I mean, you need Ether to transact. So the end result of the SEC's actions seem to be moving toward unplugging the Ethereum network in the United States. And that's, just something we can't stand for.
Now, full well, my antenna is up big time now, because I haven't seen anybody pointing to anything before the merge. And as long as they don't point to anything before the merge, the fox is in the hen house, in my opinion. These people have gotten together to design this to take all of the spotlight away from the ICO, the Bill Hinman speech, all of the transactions and all the potential, the disguised whales and all the potential illegalities. And that is not something that's going to go over here on this channel. We also have this. Senator Warren is on the warpath, but the easiest layup that she has is the Ethereum ICO, the disguised whales. And I don't understand. I wanted to bring it to her attention, because this is the one area where she could really make her bones. Why isn't she focusing on this?
ICOs are fraud, speculative, and speculation drives innovation. So they're very important in creating foundational infrastructure.
Without registering with us. And folks somehow got comfortable that this was new and it was okay, and it was not a security, it was just some other way to raise money. Well, I disagree with them.
So it is not new, it is new, but it is not okay, and it is not another way to raise money.
Correct.
I am understanding you to say it is a violation of the law.
Yes.
Registration really matters. When companies don't register their tokens as securities, they can hide information, and the SEC does not have the information it needs to monitor this market.
I am perfectly happy for these people to do private placements, but do them right. Don't try and do it as a private placement, but get all the benefits of a public
and then
offering.
lever over into a public
and do all the
offering.
other shenanigans that are.
Well, good. So should I take today as you're sounding a warning bell for people? Maybe they better pay a little closer attention to the law, or the SEC is going to pay closer attention to them?
Yes, and it's not the first time, but I really appreciate the opportunity to do it today.
Okay, so I'll talk a bit about the funding model. So we will have a fundraiser for 2 months starting February 1st. It will be available at funds.ethereum.org. So the idea is that part of the initial issuance will be 1,000 Ether for 1 Bitcoin, or up to 2,000 Ether for 1 Bitcoin if you get it early to compensate for the increased risk. So the issuance model is that we will fundraise. Suppose that we hand out X Ether through the fundraiser, then there will be about 0.5x will be pre-mined, and then 0.4x after that will be mined per year forever.
Okay, then last night, I just happened to record a lot of it. And Charles Hoskinson said the only way he can work with XRP or Ripple is if the XRP army and the Ripple executives give him an apology and an admission of what? I'm not sure.
I mean, if people choose not to apologize or people choose not to reconcile, it doesn't mean I'm going to be like, well, screw those guys, everything's terrible. It means I don't consider them in future commercial plans. Like, I have a wallet. We're going to support Ethereum and Bitcoin, and we're going to start supporting other ecosystems. Probably Solana or others will be on that list. And then they'll go to me, should I support XRP? I said, well, look at the history. No. Midnight is going to have an airdrop to multiple blockchains. Almost certainly that'll probably be Bitcoin and others. But will we do an airdrop to XRP? Probably not. So that's the consequence of it. It's not a tax. It's just you get left out.
So you would do that if there was apologies from like the Ripple leadership? you would integrate with XRP?
Well, no, the first step would be reconciliation and an admission that things were unnecessarily blown out of proportion and that people who should have stepped up ignored it.
Yeah, I hope he's not holding his breath on everybody to come groveling to him as if they need to do that.
That's the first step. And the second step is, okay, more than happy to talk about some integrations and things. So you start with things that are universally easy to do, like Marlowe would be an example of that. There's no downside to anybody for doing these types of things. And if the collaboration's great and the communities are working really well together, things are wonderful. But here's the problem. A lot of XRP people dumped ADA, and they were very public about it. They went and posted screenshots of their trading accounts and saying, it's a shit coin, ADA's horrible, Charles Hoskinson's a bad guy. So it really diminishes a person's attention and focus because guys, there's new currencies coming on board all the time. There's now SWI and Aptos and Celestia is out. There's Near, there's Base Protocol. Coinbase calls us up, they say, you want to do something with Base? And so I have finite resources and I have to make a decision as a CEO for my company and the things we build at my company of where we deploy those types of resources.
Okay, you get the gist of that. Now, here's something interesting. He had something else to say in this. I want to see if I can get to it because it doesn't have to do with that. Let me see if it's this part.
It was very cordial, very respectful.
As XRPL projects that have and I've always been change that narrative.
I don't know, guys. I don't know,
it's a process,
maybe
is it?
The same with Ethereum to me. You know, I criticized Vitalik. I wasn't so friendly. As trader, the Ethereum approached how we would do things, created a reality where Ethereum views Cardano very near these two entities. So I fully appreciate it. They think a version of history is absolutely a problem with particular people in the XRP. Whereas before this all happened, I actually was on great terms with Brad. I had dinner with him at the Milken Institute. He dressed up like a leprechaun.
This part right here doesn't have to do with him not being mad at Ripple or XRP Army or whatever. This part right here, he drops what I consider to be a bombshell. Listen to this.
You guys Google Charles Hoskinson, Brad Garlinghouse, Milken, you could see a picture of us at a table together and he's dressed up like a leprechaun. Well, not necessarily, because what a government usually does the minute that they create the digital standard is they actually by law ban the other thing.
Did you hear what he just said? Once they create a digital standard, they ban the other thing. Now, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but this is kind of one of the things that's always been stuck in my craw about Bitcoin is that we know that Homeland Security knows who the four Satoshis are. To me, it's very obvious it's a government-created operation to herd people into this digital system. That's my question. I've said I own a Bitcoin and a half or so, just in case they don't kill it. But if you listen to what he said, look at what's happening right now. Regulations coming at stablecoin regulations. That's always been my question is once the government has in place, once they've let all these prototypes run for 10 or 15 years and then they have their regulations in place and they can have government-backed, stable coins or hybrids of that and all that kind of stuff, do they then turn around and kill all the private stuff like Bitcoin?
So the minute that CBDCs exist, they're going to ban cash. And then any cryptocurrency that doesn't correspond to the CBDC's regulatory capture, they'll ban that as well.
You hear what he's saying?
And they're already trying to do it. They want to connect identity to every transaction in crypto land. Mika's trying to do this. The U.S. Treasury Department's trying to do this. It's a recommendation from FATF. When the guys go after MetaMask, what they're really saying is we're going to go after non-custodial wallets because we want all your crypto to live in custodial wallets. Or live in a non-custodial wallet with identity and reversibility inside of it.
Now, do you remember the other day when Ryan Selkis had floated out? I don't think he floated it. He's a connected guy. He threw out the idea that they would, within the next 5 years, possibly, I think he said ban Bitcoin or order you to turn it in like they did gold. He referred to the executive order, what was that, 6102?
Well, they're doing a great job taking over crypto, man. 10 companies control most of cryptocurrencies in the world. 10 companies. If you take a look at the largest exchanges, the stablecoin issuers, and the ETFs, they control about 75% of all of the value flow and liquidity, and actually have about 60% of all the crypto under custody. So So while we pretend like things are decentralized, what we've been doing as an industry has been systematically handing things to Tether and Circle, handing things to Coinbase and Binance, handing things to BlackRock. And every time they take another inch, people in the industry celebrate because...
Okay, look at this prediction from Ashley Prosper back March 2023. My predictions: Ripple summary judgment granted in part, denied in part. SEC summary judgment denied. Ripple settles with the SEC on denied part of the summary judgment. No appeals. New York Attorney General wins Supreme Court case against KuCoin. 6 SEC targets Ethereum. That's pretty interesting. Then we have this going on over the weekend. Not good, folks.
Philadelphia Bank, Republic First Bank, was collapsed and was seized by state regulators. Fulton Bank reached an agreement with regulators to take over Republic's first nearly 36 branches in Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and New York. They will reopen under the Fulton Bank name. This branch in Media already has a temporary sign-up. This is the first regional banking failure this year.
Are we looking at a canary in the coal mine is the question. Now, yesterday, now this is getting into an area of things I cannot talk about out here, so we're gonna talk about it in DAIXRP.com. But as you know, Senator Warren has her anti-crypto army. I haven't seen, there's not much of an army, but it's kind of just her and Gary, I think. But she had sent letters to the DOJ. She's got a letter to the DOJ basically saying that cryptocurrency is a payment of choice for child sexual abuse materials. It's kind of weird. And I told her, I said, well, because you know what she's doing here. What she's trying to do is she's trying to align crypto with all of the issues that she can create an emotional factor with people. Say, oh, we don't want child abuse if crypto's doing that. In other words, she's trying to use these little heartstring issues, which everybody is against. Child sexual abuse, of course everybody's against that. Well, you know, how much child sexual abuse has been done by people using cold hard cash? Probably a lot. In fact, I'm sure the island guy himself used a lot of cash. But anyway, my point is that she's trying to make this about cryptocurrency when it's all just her lies. So, but she is correct in one respect. The island guy was a big Bitcoin guy, and he was one of the major guys donating to MIT while Gary Gensler was there. And I'm telling her, well, why don't you dig here? And then here's my reminder video, which I'll play in the member group, but I also have something else on the island guy that came out yesterday. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, and tell your friends and family that if you think the island guy is intertwined into all this crypto stuff like I do, you might want to come in here and listen to this. So here we go.